kind of a rough year, but, I'm just gonna hope things are turning around now.
Absolutely, if you'd like to. Appreciate that. Thank you, Deb. Well, I should have said it to that response. Hmm. Oh, thanks, Laura. See all of us beautifully now.
Yeah.
My glasses at home. No. I was driving here and I was like, my glasses are. Okay, 6 o'clock. Let's call this meeting to order with a flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. God. Justice for all. All right. Are there any adjustments or amendments to the agenda that anybody would like to make? Hearing none, we'll go for the agenda, and then we're gonna jump right into our first strategic planning with Vince. Thank you for being here. This is new to all of us, so maybe an overview to start, and then we'll jump in. However you want to
Yeah.
run things. It's your show now.
Well, Vince, I will tell you that Soren went to a strategic planning at LSBA, right?
did.
And he came out with, oh God, what do we do?
There's a lot ahead of us, but it's-
Was it Bethel? Yeah,
Oh, well,
It was
so just to add,
pretty involved.
holy moly.
yeah, well. Bethel's special.
Yeah, they had like fancy
They're,
like
no,
posters made by
I
artists
love
and
Craig
stuff.
Sproul's the superintendent. He's a super sweet guy and it's a cool board.
Hi.
But
Hi.
That was
I
canceled.
think it was canceled. Cause they were of illness,
Does it normally be here or?
at the library.
Public library.
By the library. Right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sarah Cash came down sick. Do you have her number? Okay, sorry about that.
Oh, all right, well, I'm warning you, Meg, I'm counting on my phone.
Nice to meet
Thank you for making the trip.
Safe travels home.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right.
Where was I? Well, goodness, so the whole first half of this slide deck is orientation to what is strategic planning, what is it we're supposed to be doing? What is and what is the board's role in that? And then we're gonna finish up with a process where I'm gonna get some input from you on what you want to know from your community before we start this. Because I put in our plan that we do a survey
Yes.
initially, so. And I have a calendar of all our steps through this process, so let's just dive in. Because like I said, I make these slide decks and I always forget what's in them, so. So, oh yeah, this is if I had a bunch of staff in the room. You guys have cultivated really robust norms for how to work with each other. But when I put board and staff together in a room, I take time to do some level setting. So we'll use these next time. Yep,
Can I ask a question? Sorry.
yeah, sure.
So in a situation like that, when we invite staff, is it the whole school? Is it you pick out some people?
I can ask for volunteers.
I love that question. Hold on to that.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm gonna
Here's
answer.
a slide for it.
I have a slide for that. Cool. Yeah. So here's the thing. When we think about strategic planning, we often think about this really cool binder with really cool and like graphics, and we're going to put it on our website and all that stuff. And that's really just organizational infrastructure. And the reality is that if you don't have culture grounding that, you're toast. Yeah. So that's Peter Drucker. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. Yeah. So if you don't have a solid culture, and ultimately, I love this. It was at the summer board conference, and it was Shelley Reggiani from Beaverton. She said the process is, oh wait, no, the process is the product. So the process that we use is, I would say, is as important as the document that you're going to get at the other end. Yes, you will get strategic documents with really well crafted language in it, but because we're going to take your staff along with us and we're going to get input from the community ahead of time and at the end, or in the middle, really, then what we're doing is we're building culture around these documents. Hence the slide. So yeah, and this is kind of the yeah, you guys know this, you lived this. I mean, we can have roles and responsibilities and organizational structures and tools, and oh, there's the strategic plan there. You know, all these things that we can see, that we can put our hands on. But if we have biases about who we are and what's possible for our kids, beliefs and traditions or taboos, things that we can't talk about, maybe practices in the past are probably taboo topics. If we can't deal with that stuff, then whatever we put in a binder isn't going to do anything, isn't going to do much. We need to work with this stuff that's under the water too. So that's why we use a district-wide leadership team. And this is borrowed from a program that was initially, bless you, yeah. We originally came out of the Lighthouse Project. I've talked about that in the past. So we used to do a program called the Diane F. Saft Memorial Program. We would do scholarships. And you could get like a full one. If we took like maybe 4 districts each year, and you would get like 6 3-hour sessions in a year to do a project. Strategic planning was one we did a lot. Anyway, that's where this DLT thing came from. District organic leadership. So yeah, it's a staff group who take leadership for the district's improvement efforts. It's someone who's going to come alongside the board to support you and help you do this leadership work. They are going to do a lot of communicating because they're going to have ownership of it. They're going to participate in it, in this planning work. So, and they will help hold you accountable as you're holding the district accountable. So this is where we start thinking this reciprocal accountability concept. You guys have heard me say that accountability isn't about holding your thumb on the district. It's about making a commitment to walk together to do this work. That's where this stuff comes from. Yeah, and they're going to be modeling this because not everybody can be involved. Although you guys do this on easy mode because your district is so small, you can have a large proportion of your team in the room doing this work. Whereas if I was in Salem Kaiser, I'm still stuck with DLT of, 12 to 15 people, and that's all I'm going to get in a district of thousands of people. Yeah, they're going to be supporting it. They're the ones that operationalize it. And what's this last one? Ooh, and yes, they protect it because there will be times, and I would say they will help you guys protect it because there will be times when you want to get distracted and they will hold you accountable. It certainly was the case in my experience. So yeah, that's the DLT. So what they do. So who's on it? So the feels kind of odd to be in Elsie saying central office staff, but I mean, there she is, central office staff. But yeah, I mean, you're gonna want your teaching and learning folks, for sure. You may have facilities people. I'm doing this. I'm 2 steps ahead, 2 meetings now in with Lowell. So if you want to talk to Scott down there, yeah, I mean, because so you guys are kind of almost in parallel. You're just lagging them by 2 meetings. So doing essentially the same process. So you can talk about who he's brought in, and he's got a great group of people. We've got facilities folks, we've got teaching and learning folks, we've got principal, educators, counselors, mental health folks, runs the gamut. It's amazing. I mean, for a town of 1,100 people, they got a lot of people in their schools. I was really surprised. Anyway, yeah, so and this is where when you've seen me throw the slide up, collaborate with staff to do district goals, is that board work? This is exactly what that slide is aiming at. So, but remember when we talked about that, who comes alongside the board? That's chosen by your superintendent because she knows who your master teachers are, who those classified, who those really sharp A's are that need to be in the room to have insight in doing this work on where this district needs to go over the next 5 to 10 years. So yeah, pretty much anyone who can support the strategic work of the district, there are no limitations.
I just have to say, I love it's a 5 to 10 year thing and not like 2 years. I
No.
like that's like a long-term vision there, so.
And even when you come back to this in 5 years, you won't just take and chuck the whole thing. You just do a refresh. Yeah, it's this iterative work. Okay. So this is an odd slide. So this is actually captured from a handout that we used to use, but it gives you an idea of the type of work. And I'm sorry, the text is really hard to read. But yeah, so key areas of work, and I just highlighted the first one there, identifying needs. So if we were trying to identify the needs in the district, so what does that look like? Studying data to determine areas of the greatest learning or facilitating data study. You get the idea here that we're all going to come together and do this work. So just an example of what this work will look like. We will be looking at student data, but that's going to be late January before we get to that point. Okay. So this is an issue that sometimes there are a number, but the one I want to touch on is this first bullet point here, issues that often surface. I don't know if it'll be an issue here or not, but sometimes people who serve on ELTs, get framed as going to the dark side. You know, oh, you're going to it, you're working with administration, oh, you're one of those. So that's just something superintendent to keep in mind as we're going through that we're protecting that staff, those staff. And that it's really important. These people should be thanked because we're adding hours to their day. This is gonna be on top of their normal days. It's a lot. It's a big ask. Yeah, in fact, in Lowell, we switched to 2-hour meetings. So we start at like 4. So it's like 4 to 6. So we can get them, get in, do some work, get them out. So they can get home, have dinner, be with family, go to bed, get up. So they can work the next day. And so if that's something you guys want to do and move our meetings up just to accommodate staff, so they're not so impacted. School boards work late into the night. Okay,
With that, so because everybody kind of has different work schedules too, like at Lowell, do they do something like where some board members are virtual? Or do they try to ask everybody to be in the room?
not yet.
Okay,
Everybody's shown up. It's pretty amazing.
If enough advance, I could probably work at it.
Well,
I was just,
I have supportive
well, 'cause
management.
well, I'm thinking like my principal's online. And like,
Okay.
could we get a teacher and have them join us? virtually?
Sure,
Okay,
we can make that work.
okay.
Yeah, cause whatever time of day we're here, it's still like, could be an hour drive for them to get home.
Yeah, keep in mind, we did this process during the pandemic. It was where it was all virtual.
Okay.
So I mean, we can stand up murals and things like that. If you want to work that way, we can all be, or, you know, we could do it all virtual if you wanted. It's
I
up-
like being in, I think it's beneficial to be in the room, but I do think you figure out with your team, I think it's nice to give an option if that's something that's possible, but.
It's funny, I left a brake slide in here. See, this used to be a long slide deck. And I don't know why, there's this long brake slide. Don't take a 5-minute break though. I've lost you. Okay, so you're familiar with this content. You've seen this slide before many times now. You know the things that we're supposed to be doing. We're drawing our attention to that top line there, though. That's setting a vision, what's possible for our kids and where we want to go, a vision of high expectations. So that's where we're focusing our attention here. You've seen this slide. You've seen this slide. Don't do the naughty things. So this is also grounded, of course, balanced governance theory. So yeah, we want to be in a state of informed oversight, and that's exactly what this is creating the infrastructure to allow you to be in that state in a comfortable way. You're creating the framework for informed oversight. So yeah, it's this, and it goes a long way to alleviating this tension that we feel in our roles. You know, one side we're student focused as trustees, and on the other side, it's
Sorry.
Nope, you're fine. This is all introduction stuff that you've already seen, so nobody feel bad.
You have to catch you up at this point.
Yeah,
Nothing.
no catching up. Super easy. The only thing that you really need to know is that staff are gonna come alongside and help with the strategic planning thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so this allows you to be engaged and working with the district, but and still fulfill both of these roles because one, your strategic plan is gonna be totally student focused, but at the same time, it also gives you a story to tell. Because when you can show progress on a strategic plan, you can be accountable to the community. You can go out and tell that story. And so it's really nice to be in that sweet spot. Okay. So the question is, this is really about strategic direction versus strategic planning. And this is a misnomer. And we use this term strategic planning a lot. But school boards, we give direction. We decide on the what is going to get done and discuss the why. So what are we going to do for kids and why are we doing that? Versus the how of getting it done. The actual strategic plan, we're not going to do that until much later. That's actually going to happen this summer. What we're going to be doing is prioritization. We're going to be working on strategic direction. We're going to take all those priorities and we're going to hand it off to the superintendent. And then she and her team are going to flesh out this operational strategic plan and then come back to us. You know, with what that plan, it should be aligned to these priorities that we come up with. So it's that distinction between direction versus planning. So there's a point where we as board members stop. Once we start getting into the strategies and individual actions that need to be done in classrooms, that's not our job. We're not the experts. We're the ones that are at the, you know, sitting with our eyes at the horizon, choosing the destination where we want to go. Okay, wow, I'm just flying through the slide deck. This is great. Okay. So our role, like I said, is setting direction and ensuring that the operational plan is aligned to the direction that the board wants to go. And then monitoring progress as we go along. So we'll go through all these. So yeah, setting that strategic direction, that's what this process, you know, for the next few months that we're gonna be doing. That's what this is all about, is setting that strategic direction. So working collaboratively with staff to review district community data. So we're gonna do some situational analysis. Where the heck are our kids? How are we doing? You know, and we have to look at the good, the bad, and the ugly and be okay with that. Because that's how we're gonna get better. Then we're gonna identify those areas of focus and priorities. We're gonna look for those things that have centrality, and the idea there is we're gonna look for those things that we can work on that are gonna impact lots of other things around student success. So a really good example is attendance. If kids are in the building, they can learn. If we don't have attendance, we're not gonna have academic success. So that, you know, that's an example of a factor that has a lot of centrality. Nutrition's another one. If a kid shows up, they're in the building, but they're hungry and can't focus and they're squirrely, and you know, then we gotta make sure that they're adequately fed, or you know, and you get the idea here. So we want to focus on things with lots of centrality. That's what our areas of focus and priority are. And then as we're going along, we're going to be identifying metrics. We're going to be looking at a lot of data. And we're going to want to think about what those metrics will be, because at the end of this process, we have to set up a monitoring plan. You'll remember a monitoring plan lays out what are those key indicators that the board is going to track, what are they going to look like when they're presented, when is the board going to get them?
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
How many areas of focus / priorities will there be? Like, we're not gonna do 20, like there might be
No.
like 3 to 5.
Yeah.
Is that usually what a strategic plan has? Okay,
Yeah, if I can hold you to 5, I'll do my job well.
okay.
And if you want to go down to 3, that's awesome. Because, I mean, what you focus on, focus creates change. If we try to do everything all at once, we won't get anywhere. So yeah, focus is important. Okay. So alignment of direction and planning. So yeah, so once we've set those priorities, we'll do a check-in with community, and say, hey, does this look reasonable? And they'll give us the high sign, and then we'll hand it off to Krista and the team. They'll build out what are the key strategies. You know, we're going to work on 3rd grade reading. How are we going to improve 3 years? What are the strategies we're going to do? What are the specific actions that need to happen? Those things. That's going to be in the strategic plan. So we want, when she comes back with that document, our job as the board is to look at that and say, hey, these were the priorities. These were the conversations we had. Is the plan that's coming back to us aligned to that? And I've yet to be in a situation where it wasn't, but that's our job. And then we provide feedback and then revise as needed, but oftentimes there's very little revision required. Actually, superintendents are really good about creating operational plans that are closely aligned with priorities. And then here's the monitoring plan. So yeah, then we develop the plan. So, and then we set up those regular meetings. Now, how you guys want to do this, we can have this conversation. This will be a conversation we'll have like a year from now, unless you want to get started early, which will happen. It'll happen naturally as you do this work. you'll notice staff will already start taking up and start using the direction that the board is giving. Because they'll be listening, watching. You'll see them responding to it. And then you'll start seeing the data because you're paying attention to the stuff. You'll start seeing the data in board meetings. So we can talk about how you guys want to navigate that. And it's totally up to you, but you can see that I'm recommending that you are getting, fairly significant data reports fairly frequently, 5 to 6 times a year. Maybe more. There are some superintendents that put a chunk of data in front of their board every month. Every meeting they're getting something, so it's totally up to you. Now, Kristen's, small district, wearing many hats, so we don't want to overload her, but yeah, we want to come up with a plan, something that's reasonable. Sure.
Can you dive into that one-way communication? Is that, when it says periodic, name,
Yeah,
I'm assuming that means it's the information to us to digest, but dive in
Yeah.
just a little bit as we kind of continue to grow as a board. What's an expectation around that?
yeah, that one-way communication concept, yeah, the district is reporting its progress. It's not a planning session, so you're gonna be getting these reports in a business meeting as a report. It's totally reasonable to ask clarifying questions, but it's not a time to do in-depth planning. That's why you carve out 2 to 3 times a year to do that. I would recommend, I really like doing a retreat in the summer and one in the winter, January, so August, January. So 6 months apart. That's when you have you throw a retreat, 6 hours, get lunch catered, and you look at data and you have really hard conversations about student data.
Peter Lundstedt?
Yeah, I can cater lunch.
Yeah, and
And I
so,
don't have to work it.
Yeah, she's
like, "I'm gonna
August. Participate for 6
So that makes that, sounds to understand kind of the difference. in those areas.
so yeah, those little ones, 5 to 6 times a year or 12 times a year, whatever. Those are really district communicating progress. They're saying, this is how we're showing progress. Those retreats are the time getting in, actually they're renewing the strategic planning process, basically keeping your strategic plan alive. Good questions. Oh, this is our calendar. So this is our process. So here we are. It is November 18th. And we're in the program orientation. Hooray. One of the things I have to get out is input on this survey that we're going to put out over December and January. And then we're going to come back at the end of January and look at some data. And then I'm going to get some input from you on the idea of or a profile or portrait of a graduate. Has anybody heard of that?
Yes, I started.
Cody talks about it a lot.
Yeah,
I liked the district that took it a step further and also designed a portrait of an educator. What the educator in our district looks like to support our graduate.
that's really cool. Could
I
we-
can't remember what district was. I could go through my notes and find it, but
Bethel?
they did both. No, it was not. This was from summer conference.
Right.
Now, Bethel's thing was a little overwhelming. I'm not even gonna lie.
They both came out, they're like, do you know what this entails? Like, everybody.
Did
Yeah.
one school have like a portrait of like a 6th grader or something too? Like they took somebody from the middle just to make sure that they were getting.
Ooh, yeah,
Like
I
contrast.
did. Yeah, there's actually portraits at different levels. So
I think
6th grader, 6th grader, 6th grader, 9th grader. We did that, and then
you
and
see
then a
his
graduate.
face. It is from that school in Portland.
Oh, I
Park
know.
Rose?
Yes,
It was Park
I
Rose,
think
yeah.
it was Park Rose.
So we could do that too. I mean, whatever you want to do. I mean, I'm slated out for a profile of a graduate. We can lengthen this. This is not written in stone, so I'm here for you guys. And if something happens, and we have to skip one or whatever, we can do that. This is just a template to guide us.
I even have in line with that portrait of a graduate is once we have that defined, putting Mr. Lynch's art involved somewhere in a hallway, on a doorway
Oh,
and an
yeah.
entryway to paint and design our portrait of a graduate.
So the students see. That's really cool.
So our community sees it even.
Mhm.
That art class is amazing.
So yeah,
Not just a class, it's every student.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
So-
I mean, as
Yeah.
a whole, it's all.
yeah.
We do a great job.
I really like the idea of starting with this profile or portrait of a graduate before talking about vision. And I have a slide here that where I ask you vision, talking about vision, mission, values, things like that. The things we traditionally see in strategic documents for organizations. Just not enamored with. I don't see that much value in them. Priorities are important. This portrait of a graduate, I think that's a really, really valuable. It's very tangible. It's immediate. So if we want to do vision, mission and values, we can do that. But I really like the idea of portrait of a graduate. It really propels the work.
It's hard to put an image in the mission, vision, values. And I
Exactly.
think most people digest something that they can imagine and think that's concrete, being overview. Vision values are hard.
It's also outcome-based management. It's really easy to track processes. And it's really satisfying because we can just work our tails off and do lots of processes and not get really good outcomes. And that's why portrait of a graduate is really compelling, because you should be able to measure those different factors in that portrait of graduate and be able to see how well you're meeting that end state goal. Okay, so we'll talk about that. I'll get some input from you. I'm still learning. I've never done a portrait of a graduate process, so I'm doing it with Lowell. I got some good input from them. It was a lot of fun to do it with them, so I can't wait to do it with you guys. I'm gonna come back with a draft portrait of graduate for them. Priorities, and it will not have cool pictures or anything like that, because I'm not an artist like that. But it would be really cool if I could. I'll have to figure out how to do that. Priorities, so yeah, then we need to come up with priorities. What Krista was asking about, how many do we have? We can't have 20. Yeah, so that's the 3 to 5 big, hairy, audacious goals that you guys are gonna have. And these are kind of like mini vision statements, is really what they are. What is our vision for academic success? What is our vision for health and well-being? What is our vision for facility, district facilities? That sort of thing. I'm not saying that those are going to be your priorities. I'm not trying to be prescriptive. Be whatever the group comes up with. Those three almost always come up. We'll go ahead. We'll do that priorities formative process. I'll get lots of input from you, and then we'll come back and we'll actually polish that language in that meeting in March. And then we're going to take that out into community. It is optional. You don't have to check in with community, but considering history for your community, it's probably a good idea. And we can do that in a variety of different ways. We can do it with a survey like we're going to do initially, or we can do focus groups, or we can do both. It's up to you guys, and you guys can. It's a good opportunity for you guys to go out and bring community, and you guys get exposed. You will be the experts on this stuff by that time, so you'll be really comfortable to have those conversations and get that feedback. And then we'll go ahead and review and refine. Notice OSBA optional. I'm happy to be there with you, but you don't have to bring me along. You guys will, at this point, will be fully qualified to revise your own priorities. And then by June, we're gonna want to get adoption there in late spring. Okay, so that's the priorities process. Next is the planning process. So then we're going to take all those priorities. We're going to hand them off to Krista. She and staff will walk with you through this whole process. So they will be primed and ready to do this work. And then we're giving them until October, and you get no more time. No, I'm kidding. No, they get as much time as they need to do this. So we can flex this out if we need to. But they're going to develop a strategic plan. There should be at least one check-in along the way where you get to see a draft document. This is what it looks like, and get feedback from you, and then go back and finalize it. We have a formal alignment review plan for October. So that's when we see the final version of the plan and adopt it. And then it's developing the monitoring plan, and that'll be super easy by that point, because you will already been so steeped in data. You will already know the measures that you want to look at, and Crystal will already have an idea of how she wants them to look and all of that stuff. So that'll be really easy there at the end. Monitoring plan, and then you do your monitoring sessions when you're done. You start using it. By that time, you'll be seasoned using it in the board. It'll be really cool.
Nice.
Sure.
I mean, you don't have to have an answer for this, but maybe some feedback from start to finish, we will have a board, at least one board member for based. You
Okay.
know, that's not running again.
I'm not.
And so, but that's at a point that like, we've done set our priorities at this point, you
Yeah.
know? It's like, it's not one of those things that we're gonna be going back to the beginning point. Any thoughts on how you get that person up to speed? Get things going?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it's gonna be a little tough. I mean, hopefully, anybody who's interested in being on the board should, definitely be paying attention
Mhm, yeah.
by that point. They should start paying attention in January. So they should be walking along with this process.
In theory.
I don't know if I haven't talked to anybody about not rerunning.
Okay.
So I probably should start just so it can get out there if anybody wants
I've been
to.
asking people to think about people that I might talk to, just to get ahead of the game.
Yeah.
That, where we're succeeding is we're talking about it as a board at business meetings, like, if there's going to, positions will be open regardless of whether it's they're running against somebody or it's open, there will be
Yeah.
positions open, so
Only 2 seats, right?
mine and yours will be
Yeah.
open, yeah.
I think 9 years is enough.
But I was just curious if you had any insight on that, but that's a
Yeah.
good point, like paying attention starting January, like really bring them
Yeah.
in.
I mean, you're gonna be polishing, finishing the priorities right around the filing deadline for the election. Wait, there's no election next year.
Yeah,
There's
March.
In May.
March.
Yeah, but they have to have
Oh,
their.
that's right.
March, April.
You're right.
It's probably gonna be
in
the only
March.
thing on the ballot.
Yeah,
us,
for
is
us.
those-
Right.
Why is that? Just because we fall off of the other districts?
Well, they don't want all 5 boards.
No,
to
no,
come
not
up at
that. I mean,
once.
just why wouldn't it be on the normal election cycle every 2 years? Isn't there like Benton County elections every 2 years?
We're special, we go with special districts. I don't know why we do that. It'd be much better if we went in November.
Yeah,
much
I mean,
better
because
turn.
you just get more people to vote.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I don't really care. I just feel like, yeah, it's hard to get people to vote anyway when there's not like a presidential election, much less if it's just a
And
school
this-
board
and
election,
This turnout for the special election is gonna be abysmal.
right?
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
so what we can do is maybe start talking to the ones who people on about, maybe we can even reach out to them to come to our board meeting, that's like.
What I hope is that I hope by the time this spring rolls around, that there's been enough harmony in the school that we don't have someone coming in just to make waves like 2 years ago or a year and a half.
Yeah, the worst thing would be we get our priorities set and someone comes in who's like, yeah, I've been following along, but I don't agree with any of these.
Well, that
Okay,
would be
that'll-
hard,
that'll
but
be
I just mean
troublesome.
like,
But so we have a
You know.
majority, like, that's, yeah.
I mean, anything can happen. Shoot, one of us could die tomorrow. We have the school board, so you just don't know, but
That's a what if
Shit,
situation.
I've had a lot of that going on lately. Let's not talk about
sorry, I
that.
bring it back.
Yeah, it's sorry, I just, but
It's something
there's
to
some
think
good
about.
ideas to keep in mind, so.
Again,
Yeah.
I thought maybe our role in communicating with people in our community. Just saying, this is a really pivotal time, your involvement in our meetings and interest in the district. It'd be a good idea to start watching, attending,
So, yeah,
showing up.
maybe in that, once we do the formative process for in February, maybe coming up with a communication plan, which is, doesn't have to be complex, where you can give you guys some talking points to go out and be in community, you get people interested. And
What is
people,
the-
who-
When is the next Valley Voice? I mean, maybe it's something posting in the Valley Voice, the strategic planning process is happening.
It's already passed. I'll have to catch
Maybe
up,
put it on the-
Let me put something in.
you're gonna want something in the Valley Voice for the survey, so you want the link and all that stuff.
Which is, it's too late, because it had to be, the next one will be on January.
Well, and then we can put the seats opening too in that article.
I would hope that the community starts paying attention, even if they don't necessarily have a voice at the table. I think that now is a good time for them to even start logging in and listening.
But the issue has always been, unless we have problems in our school, they don't.
Well, I think that's every school board meeting. I mean, literally.
But has
like,
our district ever had a strategic plan, and have we ever presented, we're collaborating collectively for the
think
future
it
of our
would be-
district?
I think it would be cool to probe the community with kids that don't attend LC school and attend other schools, what they would like to see in a strategic plan for the school here. Not just them, but I mean, it would be good to have a subset group of people who are taking their kids elsewhere. Like,
We should go out to the whole
Hold that
community. and
thought,
do-
Cause
right?
that might be a
they're
demographic that we
here or
wanna
not.
measure out.
well, yeah, I mean, I think we have to pull the whole community, but I think it's important. We're losing a strong percentage of the kids in our community to somewhere else. What I'm saying is if we could get them to have their own, what you said, when you talked about different groups. Yeah, you talked, no, you didn't say demographic, but you said different focus groups. Like we could have a focus
Yeah.
group built of just people with kids that don't attend LC and go somewhere else as a focus group to help us understand why. And just put it at that. We just want to understand better why you make the school choice you do when there's a school closer to your home. And I think there's a few families I could imagine would get involved enough to just give us an idea of why, because we're guessing why. We guess because they work there. We guess because what they have another kid, we guess. We don't really know. I don't really know.
So, yeah.
What do you want me to write that on?
Poll
Okay.
people who's,
Your mic's not on. Gotta hold it down. There you go.
poll people that
With children not.
attending outside the district. We'll add that as demographic. Okay, did we cover everything there? I think we did. Okay. Wonderful. Okay, so. And this is just guidance for me in my planning. How attached are you to the idea of having a vision statement? Do you guys have vision, mission, anything like that? You have a slogan or?
I talked about it last year. I don't know if we ever materialized a
I thought it was on our,
new one, but maybe.
on our,
I think Sean created one.
thought it was on our website.
Yeah, maybe. I know we talked about it.
It's probably worth revising if.
This is something, I don't know when this was made.
Oh, I like that.
I remember that.
That's like a.
Yeah, I don't know, I just remember seeing.
It's actually,
That it's hidden away back where
Pretty
you
good.
don't see it.
Maybe it should be up at our front door.
Yeah, there you go. Put it up there.
I'm not moving anything because last time I did, I got in trouble, so I have.
that's.
I'm sorry, you're the boss
Yeah,
of the
that's more of a
school.
You would
vision
think.
statement.
You would think, but not really.
So yeah, I got
She's the
this,
toilet flush monitor. Last meeting.
got this.
That wasn't very nice.
I got this, I don't know, it was actually sitting up there in our first meeting, and I was like, what is this? So
think
I don't
it's a
know
great
when this
mission
was
sta- Or
made.
vision statement.
Yeah, I don't know when this was made, I don't know any of that.
Okay,
Is there a date on that thing?
Nope, I already looked.
Nothing.
It looks old,
weird.
just by the
It
way
looks
it's
like it's
done.
been a while.
Looks like it's been at least 30 years. Maybe more.
That needs to be
I
like
don't-
literally right above our internal
Really?
set
I
of
just don't use
doors.
fonts like
I
that.
totally agree with
No,
that.
I don't disagree, but I also think too that like,
Well, we can make it whatever we want.
you
if we
can make
like
it, I mean, I like the concept of it,
Mhm.
but I also think too, like. Is this really what we truly believe as a community? Or is that just something where you're saying, oh, that's great,
Yeah,
like,
I
this
think
is, I
it's-
think, the process that,
Mhm.
we come to, is this what our values and our priorities align to?
Mhm.
Or, cause I've seen ones that say, school districts will create global citizens. And then they talk about, what is global citizens,
mhm.
you know?
Yeah, and that can be a little.
Yeah, so I don't know, I just was,
Different,
that's why I got it,
depending
I was
where
like,
you-
I know there's one around here.
And it needs to be something that you can remember, that you use, and that's gonna propel your work.
I
So,
think the critical component that we've all talked about, not just me, is the fact that we have a very split community on the success of our school in general. I think that's why the bond was so contentious. I think that's why when the bond didn't go well, it creates so much, havoc. Because our community is very split, whether they care about having a school in town or not. And the single most important goal we have to get the community behind is caring about having a school here and why that's so vitally important.
And the value of it.
Right. Whether their kids come here or didn't or graduated, if we can't bring that back to a small town with so much craziness in it, that this school is the only business in this community, not taking away from your cafe, that employs a large percentage of people in the community and brings people into the community to spend money at her business and other businesses, then they miss there's so many people in this community with this mindset like, oh my God, why are they opening another business? Why are they, and misses the fact that the school is the only revenue generating organization at a significant level to support. And so that means just support it. If you can't send your kid here, or if your kid already left home, but just support the district and build this embodiment. And maybe that comes, like we talked about, with some activities where the board's involved and the community's involved doing fun things on the school grounds to help promote this enthusiasm around. I mean, I had someone ask me the other day, like, what's that building in front of the school they built? I'm like, where do you live? Like, how do you not know what goes on in that building or what it's built for? Truly, they don't pay attention, right?
Oh,
And
don't
so-
get me started on people
and then-
not paying attention.
So, I mean, it's like we're somewhere, we
Put
just
it
have
in
to
there.
find a way to I would say my goal is to get like 80% of the community where the school is of major importance to them when it comes to ballot decisions and elections and
But I think,
governance and things like
but
that.
I do think, and I'm gonna go back
Instead
to
of
this
20.
piece, is that we can make it, but we have to say, what is our community's vision?
Right.
What is our mission? Because then that's built off the values. And I think you're not gonna get that until we do listen to all of our
Mhm.
constituents, but at some point too, we have to say, what do we want to, that is, I mean, in the end, what's our product? Our product is kids.
Yeah.
And so what do we want our kids when they leave here to look like? You know, and at some point, I'm gonna be honest with you, while I think it's important to bring people in and to have people stay, sometimes people don't wanna be, they don't
Yeah,
believe those
no.
values, and that's okay. That's why we have choices, right?
No, like I said, my future vision of that isn't gonna happen in a couple months. Let's just hope in a year. But I just mean like in our goal strategic planning, we just need to have this idea that the school is so important. I mean, can you imagine if the school shut down, what the community would look like on a daily basis versus now?
Yeah.
Back to this slide though, and let Vince
Yeah.
kind of take
And
us
I
back
wanna
through.
No.
what-
point out that
No, no,
sign
that's-
is not on the website anymore.
Yeah, I actually found, like
I
I
just
said, it
looked
was
at
just like
this.
sitting there one day.
There's no sort of vision or mission statement. on
It
the
was just
website.
sitting there, and
Yeah.
that's why I got up and looked, because I was like, I know that was there. And I think I asked Mary O'Brien, she's like, yeah, I think we did that like 25 years ago.
I would guess, looking
Yeah,
at
it
it.
was just literally sitting right there amongst the computers.
But
They must have found it when they were
So it
asleep.
sounds like we do kind of review vision, mission, values and actually go through that problem. Okay, that's great. Okay, so we're moving really fast. You've been asking questions throughout. So we're going out to community to ground our process. We want to know, we need to know some stuff. So this is our first prompt question and you can come up with as many posts as you like. I have a stack of them. What are the most important insights we need from the community to inform our planning process? So what do you need to know? Right, yeah. I'll give you 5 minutes to start.
I have no idea.
I was gonna say, I just
I
got
don't
this
know. What
like
do I need
blank.
to know?
yeah, I think like what I
What do they
mentioned
want?
is,
I mean.
yeah, like,
One question is why take your
Right.
kids out of district? That was one. We want to get at that. So what you're doing is you're giving me input because I'm gonna create a survey. And I need to know what your questions are. I need research questions. You know what you wanna know.
I think,
Thanks, Laura.
Laura, you can play too.
I think you should make her play.
Yeah,
She's laughing at me because
I'm putting you on the
means
spot too.
my mind just went blank.
Mine did too. It went, I
You wanna
mean,
know? You're gonna be walking with us through this whole process.
Yeah, write down your answers.
Your opinion matters. What do you need
I
to know?
think like honest to goodness, I'm just gonna say this while they're all thinking, like Mia, when we moved here, in 6 months, she was gonna go to Portland and leave and never come back. That was her mindset. And 2 months ago, driving home, she said, I would never have wanted to go to school anywhere but Halsey. And as I've listened to her over the last couple of years, coming from Portland School District to here, talk about the social pressures, the peer pressures, the drug pressures, the sex pressures in that school district versus this school district, and how relaxed and how safe it feels. I want to, I mean, I'm not trying to overshare, but I want to share that message with other people's children, because that's the thing that they don't know, right? They don't understand that Elsie's a small school, but it's a really small, safe school. Like, these kids are just not where kids in these big districts are at. And I just value so much like the choice we made. And so when people tell me like, oh, we go to Corvallis because it's better, or this or that, and I'm thinking, I go to Corvallis and walk around and shop and eat. And I see the students up there and I know it's not better. It's different,
Are you done writing?
not better. But maybe it's not for everybody.
I think I had this conversation a little bit with Krista, is opportunities. I agree, the opportunities are what you create. But just from a visual, when you are looking as a parent from the electives and the opportunities
Mhm.
at a small school district to,
Right.
oh my gosh, 57 options at Salem Kaiser of just certified tracks of CTE that a student can be successful in. I mean, it's hard to compare, it's hard to even necessarily, having been a student in Philomath myself. FBLA, DECA, automotive, drag racing, welding, drafting. I mean,
Oh, man.
that wasn't really there anymore when I was there, but
I
just,
just dated myself.
And I love home ec.
I mean, we
Just
had a home
couldn't
ec
get
class,
in.
but there wasn't like a big expansive club and opportunities, but just those simple little things that are a difference between just
I know,
a hill
but like
that we
it
travel
is,
through
but
every day to go to work.
just
It's
sharing,
really
like
hard.
Portland School District, my son tried for 2 years to get into home ec, and so did my daughter, and they never got in because the classes were always full. Just because they have a lot of tracks doesn't mean they have a lot of space.
Yeah.
And it's so what I mean is I think Krista's had some things with like the Spanish online and some other options we might get. You're right. It is a detriment. Like Mia's looking to apply to college right now, and her transcript could be a lot different. One, if she applied. Two, if she lived with a lot different tracks. But at the same time, Krista said they take that into account. So we're hoping, right?
I think there's something that they're learning. I look at small. Like having the power go out or maybe days at a time. How do you deal with that?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, go to Portland, those kids don't know how to deal with that.
No, they freak out.
Even in Corvallis.
My
Yeah,
mom
I was
a
just thinking,
Portland
you don't even have to go to
kid.
Portland.
Philomath hardly ever goes out.
Yeah, I mean, just little things like that,
I don't know.
Okay, so 5 minutes. I got 3.
I got 3.
I got 3.
I got two because I talk too much.
We'll clump these.
We bet you do. We're seeing.
She's a thoughter. She's a thinker. That's why she does what she does.
Are you just gonna take the stickies, or you want us to read them off?
No. Well.
Oh,
Actually, why am I doing that?
I would do it for you.
Because you're our leader.
what is Vince's title actually?
OSBA.
Board Development Specialist.
That's right. I just forgot.
What I use.
Are you like elected to the board or just employed by the board? OSBA. Because you're on a different board.
I'm an
right?
employee.
Yeah.
I'm on two
OSBA.
nonprofit boards.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not on a school. board.
Okay.
Okay. Why choose Elsie? That's a good. I know that question. What do you want? Oh, bring them back. I need my glass.
Here, you want mine?
I had to take care of my little boy today, and it was way more work than I planned. So
Bring them back, so what?
You have to look at the
that's-
manufacturer is what I was told.
I was
I
like
was
trying to
gonna
make.
look
That's why dinner
Is
was
it
late. That's why I was late, because dinner I was trying to finish it, and he's like standing on the island, like grabbing the water pitcher and dumping salt in it. I was just like,
Chicken.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is too
Limited, it's not-
much.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it one of those barred owls?
Yeah.
What is the value?
And we had a barn cat have kittens. Yeah, seen a 22-month-old with kittens. Like he's carrying around with the tail, the neck, the
That'd be
leg.
good.
He wants some kittens to
Oh.
get rid of.
I see him down in Maxwell all the time.
They're cute. They're black and white.
I always
Maybe
want
get those
kittens,
females
but
fixed.
the problem is that they turn into cats.
Yeah.
They're great when they're
Get 'em
kittens. They put up with the.
Well, it was this barn cat. We got rid of the rest of the barn cats like to the shelter, but this one ran away and came back and had babies.
Kittens can handle you picked up by the tail and the leg, but cats won't.
Hmm.
Like adult cats. That's why kittens are great.
Well, these cats love him. They
Yeah,
like come
they-
running to him, but then when he like, you get nervous. They jump in his little dump truck when he's pushing around the house and like let him go on rides.
Yeah,
It's
kittens
crazy.
are great.
Yeah,
Yes, I'd like some
Yeah.
kittens, but
and they run
for
away.
a few months.
Yeah.
I'll give them back after a few months.
I couldn't get him down for a nap, so I'm in the doghouse. I'm like,
He'll go to bed earlier, which is equally better.
hopefully. I have to get up at 5, so I hope so.
I got up at 3:30 this morning.
I got to be in Salem for surgery at like 6:45, and then I got to go to Vancouver after that. So I have a long day tomorrow. Ugh,
That it?
I think so.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, I didn't know we were supposed to write them on different stickies. That's
I
great.
did write mine on different stuff.
Okay, cool, that's good.
And I could come up with more if you wanna come back tomorrow.
I'm sure my brain will go into overdrive as I try to go to sleep tonight.
Yeah, so this is.
Mine,
the
mine won't. I can
YLC.
promise you that.
This is communication. This is programs, what do you value? What do you expect the school district to do? I like that. What do you expect staff to do? Values, yeah.
I had a what do you need? What do you need
What is
from our
the-
district?
There's-
Because I think that's a really.
I think she has multiple questions.
Yeah, I had
Multiple on
I
one
actually-
post-it.
Great up here.
Mhm.
Well, that's okay. I will get them all because I'm gonna digitize this. While I'm doing that, you guys can go to the next prompt. What challenges or concerns are we hearing from students, families, and community members that we need to address?
Are we doing stickies again?
Yeah.
And there's a whole stack, spread them out.
Nope. I don't throw well.
Thank you.
I have them all across my desk. Kind of like that spider
I have
thing when
all
you're
over
writing.
my house.
What's
My
that?
child loves these sticky notes.
Oh,
I'll just like write like random words and go stick it up somewhere in the house and like. Everyone's those.
Marcus took the paste book I brought home. And it's running cheat on it. So, like, he just loves it when I bring home those post-it notes from conferences.
think we have post-it notes anywhere in the house, but maybe in the barn somewhere in the box.
Well, mine's all across my desk.
I found a bin of all the extra baby toys we put away. My wife's been looking
Yeah,
for it
still
for a
these.
month. Yeah, go for it.
Right here.
That was
So I
exciting.
started writing, then I read the second part of the question that we need to address in the survey. Like, I just don't know what we need to address in the survey, so I just was writing stuff
Well,
down.
questions, concerns, I mean, any
Anything
of,
that you want more information on. About any. Yeah, if there's something that you've heard bubbling up, but you wanna get more information about that.
Or maybe I don't, but apparently they do.
Hmm.
Which is
Fiscal responsibility.
I might have, I might have like,
speaking of, there was a really good presentation at summer conference from Klamath.
Falls or city or county or city?
I don't, city,
City is Falls.
I'm gonna have to go back and look at the agenda from summer conference. But they had some good suggestions for behavioral programs.
oh, nice.
That I meant to share with you. So nice, to share with Mr. Harris. So ish.
Yeah.
Write myself a note.
What did we get? Laura's stickies?
He's working hard over. Also the big things. Hearing over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Think, right, you wanna pay past time?
Should have some of Deb's
It is,
coffee.
it's iced tea.
Sorry.
Well, I had an Americano like an hour and a half ago.
I had a coffee in town.
Yeah,
You
'cause
were,
I ate.
you were bebopping and ready to go after our last meeting. You were like, we,
Whenever I eat, I'm like,
Cause I ran in and got coffee. You guys were gonna make me work hard.
is Jess, she's setting up on the end one? See her show there with
I
Yes,
think we're maybe even looking at,
yes, they moved their little stand right there to the
oh,
corner,
okay.
so
they
it
can
make
like
it
park and
easier.
stuff. And there's
Uh,
power there now, right? I
There's
guess.
power there,
Yeah.
so, it's not all completely set up yet, so it's
Yeah.
still gonna park right in
In
front of the
front.
post office there and walk in, but
Is
eventually
there any more?
there's gonna be parking,
No,
Or did I get yours?
yeah, that'll be better.
I think so.
Now that they
Better
redid the sidewalk
Well,
by
I
the
think
Merc
that's where
too,
they're
it's such a
putting
pain in the
the-
ass
no,
with that,
that's Clark's
like, cause
Park,
not a lot of people, now they lost like 2 parking spaces, the corner and the other corner. And
Yeah, but that gives her more exposure instead
Yeah.
of cutting in between.
yeah, you miss it driving by.
Yeah.
Guys are awesome.
Well, we
Misty
know
is nice. I
that.
mean, I know
Oh,
she was,
sorry, I didn't. give
I
you
know
that.
she kind of developed to wait, but I was just curious.
So this is outcomes stuff, so low graduation rates, higher expectations of student achievement, being the dumping ground for other districts.
It's horrible, but it's the reality.
Yeah. This is school doing everything it can to educate the kids, so kind of outcomes thing.
Was the
Fiscal responsibility here. So we can ask a question about that. We usually aim for about, so we'll do, in this survey, we'll do, it's like 4 surveys in one. So we'll have students, parents, community students, parents, staff, community members. So we'll do a demographic section and then we'll split.
Well, I
them.
wrote that because I've had a few people in the community tell me they thought the school was gonna go bankrupt and close within 2 years. And I'm on the school board and I don't think that, but they think that, and I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know why they have
That's
that.
been a rumor going around for the last couple of years.
Yeah, so that's why I put that down, because apparently, and I'm not saying things aren't tough, but man, things are tough in all the school districts, so I mean, like, whatever.
And it's gonna get worse for others, or it's bad for us, I think.
So yeah, it'll be four, they'll get their, depending on who they are, so if I'm a kiddo, I'm gonna go to get a kiddo survey.
Mhm.
That'll be calibrated for them, and then there'll be 2 questions at the end, what's going well, could be better, just kind of the open-ended ones. That's what.
Well, and then one other thing I guess we need is, how do we get people to fill these out?
No, that's all y'all.
That's the million
Maybe
dollar
we can
Well,
do
it-
like a
it is the
gift
big
this year.
question
Can we
because
do a gift?
We don't.
But then you have to ask for names and it's not a non-survey,
Yeah.
So I would give it to your kids,
which that is.
you know, push it out to your kiddos.
Could do a donated gift.
So we can do what, 5th grade and up?
Yeah, I've usually done, I haven't done any lower than like. A lot of times they don't even really understand the question.
Understand what they're asking.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can do. 5th
Do I love
grade.
my teacher? Not today.
Yeah,
They
5th
just
grade.
let me have candy.
So, and then if you have email lists, you probably have, SMS messaging for parents. So push it out there, social media, and then any other lists for like.
Can we put it on the website?
We give it on the,
Community
you know,
members?
you
Yeah.
know what another one would be, I'm just throwing this out there, when we have basketball games, somebody could set a table and ask.
QR code.
With a QR code and ask people, I think that would be a great way. for you
I
guys-
just start carrying them around with me.
Yeah, for you guys to have out
Mhm.
there and to be
Yeah.
like, hey, the board's trying to do it, because people say, well, we don't get enough communication or say. Well,
Anytime
the
any-
board is asking you, literally, they're.
Mhm.
"Hey,
Yeah,
there's a
anytime
QR
someone
code."
brings up anything about the school, you whip that out and be like, here, can you fill out the
Please,
survey?
fill this out.
Yeah,
I
I
like
mean,
that.
just a couple of years ago, I would have said, oh, we only want a handful of people because I couldn't, particularly for open-ended responses, but now. Analyze jobs or tax data.
How many
so
people did the survey at this,
I don't
the
know.
open
As many
house? Like,
people get the
not many,
whole
right?
everyone.
When we did the open house, what did we get? I wanna say we got 22.
Yeah,
I was in the 20s.
Which-
yeah, that's
when-
better than it was, cause there was
we
like
had
5
two
when
the
I
last time we
left.
did it.
2, yeah, so we're doing.
And they were
better.
ours.
Jamie and I.
Yeah, that I didn't give very good guidance when I had like.
Clearly. That's why
That's
when they
really
told me
bad.
there was only 4 people that had replied so far, I was like, well, I'll wait till later. I don't want to know it's me. No, I'm just joking.
So wrapping this up, yeah, so some stuff about rules and structure, behavioral systems, staff accountability. Yeah, and then communication. Which is. Always a
Bert,
challenge.
you turned that heater off, didn't you?
I couldn't
I
hear,
never
every
seen
time you start
it.
talking, you're like,
I'm getting chilly too,
Okay.
and I have a flannel
You
on.
can turn it
Turn
off.
this one on back.
I'm gonna
here.
turn that one on.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, we used to have to freeze or sweat in here because we didn't have heat, so we shouldn't have to now that we do.
Mondays actually show up with a blanket.
Yeah, I bet.
I know, I'm waiting for my hot
Shit,
button.
I woke up last night. It was like 1:30 in the morning and it was 80 degrees in our room and my wife's like dying, sweating. I'm like off under the covers. I don't know what happened. The furnace must have went
I
into
put new
overdrive.
prompts up.
Oh.
So what strengths or successes do we want the community to help us recognize and build on?
Mm.
Yeah.
Hmm. That's a tough question.
Um, Well, I think we already kind of do. I'm just gonna brainstorm for just a second, because don't we do like a teacher of the month or student of the month already?
Yeah, and that's not like most
Well,
people feel like you get it at least 1 month out of the year. It's just your month. That's sad, but true.
Yeah, Dimitri's class, there's like 8 kids. So I remember last year, every kid got it once.
Yeah.
I think every kid gets it. They double up if there's not enough kids in the class together. I'm just saying. Like, you know.
I don't know. That's a good question right there. Just put that one on there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
I mean, honestly, that pretty much sums it up in my brain.
What you see is.
I mean, you could say a lot of things, like I was thinking graduation rate, but that's like not really
We
like,
really need to educate people on how that's calculated.
right?
Well,
And like,
I'll be honest with you, I can't even tell you how it's calculated.
or it's
Quite
like,
honest.
it's like how many kids like don't,
Well, I don't
Like,
understand
I don't know.
the
like-
cohort thing, like
Mhm.
families move, and that is not our fault.
No, 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 but that we get out of the cohort, so then they transfer to another, one. So Laura actually codes them based on where we
Okay.
go. But like for us, our cohort was horrible because we had that online school and we just took whoever came and then they just didn't do it.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
It was a
it's
place.
still just those extra people that are damaging ours.
and
not-
we think, remember
Okay.
last year we talked about, we think this year is our last year,
For some reason, I
or
was
this last year was.
understanding when you said it was based on their ninth grade cohort. It's like, well, it's not our fault if people move away.
Yeah, but like, if a person moves to Columbus, we actually say transfer
Okay.
to another school and then.
Okay.
Columbus takes-
Oh.
I got nothing.
I don't know, yeah, I'm brain dead
I
at the
think that
moment.
answer is, for that question.
You look, like,
I think that
You
is a
know,
good question.
my,
Said that, I think that, I think that people in the community understand that we, the school care about their kids. How do we continue to build on that and grow on that?
Well, good.
But we need the community public with that.
Okay.
all I know is my youngest son is in Sicily right now with my ex, and all I do is get emails about that he never does his school and he's failing, and it drives me crazy.
And he's been. failing
He's an
for 2
online,
years
yeah,
and you've
he's
been
an
here.
online school placeholder, just like we used to have here, and it's horrible. They just do their attendance check-in, so they're not truant, and they don't do anything. Hey, senior year, you're failing, why not take him to Sicily and sit on the beach for 10 days and look at the rocks? With dad's money that he had to pay her in December, January, whatever. Online school is only for certain kids, you know, like it works for a small portion of kids.
Well,
Maybe in the
you can
younger years it's easier, but I think you have to be a really disciplined, it's like, I want to get this done.
Well, and you have to be like really focused and disciplined parent
Yeah, to
to
get it
keep
done.
them focused and doing what they need to do.
The online stuff that's going on here, I think is.
Oh, yeah, it's
really good,
better.
But they still do have to be independently disciplined. There's consequences if you don't finish, which I think are important.
But to
Yeah.
some people, it just doesn't matter.
Well, though, but our school, like I like our online academy versus others because I see what we do somewhat.
I know that's not
But-
really like in the high school.
Oh,
But
yeah.
they're-
Oh, yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about full, like virtual school, like online school, like the
I know kids in
Clackamas,
the family, right,
like, well, that's what I mean though. Like, I think certain kids can thrive in that, but there's not that many. It really takes a lot of personal, like, drive to do that.
That's it.
Yeah,
like,
see,
really-
you're all
Yeah.
worried that we were
You
wasting
realize you guys just saved yourself $200?
This part.
$200. Yeah, because you're done in an
Well,
hour.
and I think that's the question. I think that question
yeah.
is going
Well,
to
yeah, I don't disagree. I just am
the
curious. what-
parents.
So, yeah, I mean, accountability.
Increased
I would put this
accountability.
Over here with positive change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So positive changes, successes, gosh. my glasses
I'm
off.
sorry, I write so small.
No, it's fine. Like, fading vision. Development of effective district leadership, yeah, positive change, opening school culture to the public. It's actually great. Accountability, so good stuff here. I could slide accountability over here into academic land, honor roll, graduation rate, attendance, academics, good stuff there. People care, this is place, people care about our kids here. Love how that's said. Great, small community, so, and social interactions, yeah, small community, so. Play space, and then need of parent engagement for achievement and parent and community engagement, so. It's been working on that.
Well, and I think like, to me, this is hugely because this is what we get on our report card that's sitting on a website every.
Yeah.
Like, I like the accountability piece and I like that people care, but unfortunately, when people pick schools, what's the first thing they say? The report card. I went to the report card and you're not as good.
Well, that's what I mentioned earlier with the online score, which sucks because people just look at it and think, oh, they're failing grades. And you're like, oh, come on.
But I think if you
Mhm.
see like some of this increase.
Yeah. Yeah, it will. It just takes a little time. Well, like I think it was you, maybe it was the other superintendent. Yeah, it was Gallagher who told me like when I asked that question, well, those are like 2 years old. Like the reporting is 2 years behind on
On some stuff.
I think.
I was like, oh, great.
where I think that things are improving. I think that people are finding it easier to engage with their staff and teachers for their students' achievement.
Yeah.
But where I still feel like I'd love to hear from the community and parents on this. What's holding people back?
Yeah.
What's holding you back still?
But I want to hear
Why
from
aren't you
staff.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, there was a culture a couple years ago that you never heard a word from staff because staff never felt supported.
That's
I was an oddity coming in and saying, I am not going to just say my student is the saint of here. I am here to support you as a teacher and my student. But I support you and they're just like,
No, I've been in that boat too. But I think you, as a parent, as a board member, I want us as parents continue to push that door open, because I do think sometimes old cultures die hard, and sometimes that door's not opening very easily. So what's happening in that space? I think there's just more visibility that needs to happen.
Well, and I think from the educational side, they don't teach you how to communicate with parents in school, and it is scary, because often when do you hear from parents?
Well, things are bad.
Things are bad.
And so it's like, how do you build that culture? Like for us, we're like, hey, let's send positive things home. So you're building that positive relationship, not just calling home when your kid's been. And I think that's hard, but that's not usual here.
Well, I
That's
think
happened.
we like my experience this year at parent teacher conferences with a certain child was some teachers, not all, one in particular, thought their plan was their plan. But they didn't talk to us about the plan, and their plan was really low considering the academics of my potential of my child. And I'm like, well, that's not a good enough benchmark for me. Like, I'm ready to take phones away, no TV, you're not doing anything. You don't need to tell me your only goal is for them to get a little structure the first quarter and then a little grade the next quarter. Like, I think the transparency has to come with parents and teachers being able to dialogue about what's the best plan for
The
your child.
trust.
Yeah.
Because right now, that's
Yeah.
the piece, right? Is that I could call Jamie, and if I didn't know Jamie, I wouldn't know how, if I say something, how she would react back. And so that's why I think it's really that important to have that positive interaction at first, rather than being like, hi, you're a kid. Is like getting to know parents and letting them know that this is a safe spot and I'm here for your kid, not just to knock your kid down, but I'm
Right,
here for the
right.
success of your kid.
I would also say one of the important things of this survey and these questions are, we might very well be the oddballs out. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why people run
Yes.
for, so we might be the
Understood.
oddballs out.
Yeah.
So I think we're probably, I know I am not hearing from the masses by any means, that, because I also surround myself with people who are also oddballs out. So.
Well, that's the
really,
whole
really
thing
good
with
to
like,
hear.
we think we know why they're going elsewhere,
Yeah.
but we really don't unless they tell us, right? Like, we're guessing, a lot of good guesses, but they could just hate it, right? I mean, someone could actually be like, I would never send my child to that school because of this. I mean, I think I heard that
I said I wasn't
Right?
gonna send my kids there.
because of something, but a lot has changed.
Absolutely.
As
But
a-
I also think you have to be okay. I think we have to be okay with.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Just
yeah.
because people say, I don't like
Yeah.
this, doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna change.
Yeah.
That's where that priority comes. in.
Nobody stretches or grows if y'all are fairy tales and rainbows. Like, we're gonna stretch your growth through.
Have you-
Critical feedback.
Yeah, you're not doing a great job if someone doesn't hate you
Well-
in the day, right? Not everyone shouldn't hate you, but there's always gonna be someone not happy.
We need to maybe start every single one of these sessions with, okay, let's get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Right.
We make you t-shirts, we just hashtag
We
that.
should just seriously,
Embrace the suck.
every single,
Like I
Okay.
pick up on Rastine's questions to him, toning down my defiance of you when you share data at a board meeting. I pick it up. See, I know where she's driving.
What defiance?
When she says, so when she shares the data, that's like this one-way communication. I get it. See, she may not even be intentionally. I know, no, I know. I don't know. I know, but like, I pick up on these things. See, I knew she wasn't intending that, but I pick up on these things as, yeah, that's a good point of knowledge, right? Like in that data, it isn't the time to talk about how do we fix the data. It's like, okay, we have questions how we got that data, and let's have a private meeting on how to fix that data or a board work session. Yeah.
Maybe not.
But you know what I mean? Like, it depending what it is, like,
I have everything I need.
All right,
Um,
Vince,
You will see
it's gonna
the
snow on the
survey
mountain.
and
and
the
it's starts-
Wait,
Christine and
everything you need?
that's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's what he said
Done.
5 minutes ago.
Generate a survey?
My husband's gonna be so happy.
My wife is
Go
too,
back to work early.
cause all she wanted to do is hang out
So
today.
Vince, then the next go around, what I'll do is I'll come up with the guarantee for asking people.
I got my,
Yeah, start floating it in front of people, say, strategic planning.
Is there
I
a
got-
cap on that number of people?
And
I mean,
Well,
they're both
Just
home
like-
games.
I mean, if you want to do it in the gym,
We
we
can't
get crazy,
do
we can
our-
do it.
Between the board meeting,
Yeah.
but for this meeting, this group, can we look at the January 28th meeting?
I don't think I'll be here.
And that we have a home basketball game that night, so I just,
Yeah.
oh, well, I would love to flood the library with everybody that way. I think that they would love to be in the gym.
it'll be loud too. The home basketball games are really loud.
And I don't know how far everybody's schedules go out that far, but
What
I
day of the week
still
is
haven't figured
that?
out how to use my schedule yet, but
Gotcha.
What day of the week? is
January
it?
28th
I know,
is a
but-
Tuesday.
a Tuesday.
Can we move it just to that Wednesday?
It's already
Is
Monday.
Wednesday okay for you, Deb? Was that a day that was okay for you?
my
Wednesday?
schedule's pretty clear.
Mondays are pretty open.
29?
I don't mind Wednesdays. It's just
I
like,
can do Monday or Wednesday.
I can't do-
Monday is a birthday in my
Yeah, and I
house.
Okay.
well, yeah, the 30th is a birthday at my house, but. I
So
think
The 29th,
the
29th,
30th.
okay?
Yeah, it should be. Is that a Wednesday?
It's a Wednesday. Would 6 o'clock work okay?
The 29th,
wait.
there's a middle school basketball game. Does anybody care? It's at Crow though.
Well, my daughter's playing middle school basketball, but I don't know if that's like,
Do you wanna go to Crow that day?
I don't even know where Crow is.
Okay, then. that's
Eugene.
Crow.
It's
I could have
usually
my daughter go. She lives in Eugene. She can go watch her.
Okay.
anytime. Before-
that side of
What's
Anita.
Nicole
Want
living
to
in
meet
Eugene again?
earlier?
No, no, but my other daughter.
Like Russ is gonna barely make it as it is.
Okay.
Do we know?
I like, yeah, it's really hard to say right now with my
Do you know
schedule
what
because
the
it's changed so much, but I should be able to make the 29th.
The one
That's
on
like
the 29th.
The 28th.
sometimes.
I have
Today,
it right
no, I'm
here.
babysitting at home, but that's a different story, but.
So
Normally,
it's
it's
giving you-
normally Monday, Thursday,
I know,
Friday are my
but the
busy circle days. and
events, that
Tuesdays,
situational
Tuesdays,
one,
The
that-
Wednesday
that
should be
meeting for the
okay.
28th.
I should be fine.
Do you know what we need to cover that night?
That's the profile of graduate.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big data dump from Krista. And then, or anybody else if you sign up to help with that.
Let me see sometime. I may have some.
I think you met your leadership staff though.
Yeah, so I would delegate. Yeah, and then me doing, facilitation, kind of like this for profile of graduate.
Okay. But so the 29th,
Oh my God.
can we plan it for 6 PM? With
I'm
the
gonna be
staff?
honest with staff. If we can go
Okay.
earlier, it would be better.
Okay,
Especially with some of the stuff that I'm thinking about, like. Because we're working the next.
We're
day.
doing this 29th, right? That's
So if
right.
we could do like a 5, maybe even earlier.
4:35?
I don't know if I'll make a 5, but it's a good, I mean, I can try. Is this like, so we're just gonna, I mean, if I'm running late, there is a way I could probably prepare and send you the information earlier if I know what it's about, like.
Well, we talked
Or
also
jump
about
on
like
Zoom.
having some virtual, virtual options for you, for people to call in or things like
Yeah.
that. If
Yeah.
that-
I mean, cause I'm never opposed, even when I'm driving, to jump on a Zoom, cause my car has self-driving.
And far
I
enough in
don't-
advance, I can flex my schedule to be here on time. So
Would 4:30 be okay? That would allow the educators that are involved to really kind of
wow.
be able to, I know that's early for you,
Out on the
Rob.
29th,
That's the 29th.
alright, I'll just put it in, that's fine, I'll do my best.
Okay.
Never know, I could get lucky.
It's just nice to, what Vince was saying was if we could do them a little bit earlier than the
Yeah.
teachers that are here
Oh, no, I get
are
it.
not
You
probably
can
seeing
do it at
them.
4 o'clock if you want, I'm just
Nope.
saying, like,
please, no,
I'm just saying that, you know, it's all subject to.
Do you want to plan 2-hour sessions as well?
Yeah, because I think if we go any longer.
I'm fine, that's fine.
send myself an email to my work calendar.
I'll make it work if not. I'll
If you
just,
can't Zoom.
I'm always pretty much out of surgery by then, I'm just driving on something. Listen.
Can you read them out to the
Offer
board
up
that
that
entire schedule?
We'll read them off.
Thank you.
No, I quit drinking again.
We'll run out of park.
3 days ago. So I'm again up. I told Jess I was getting coffee and she's,
Here, wait,
Anyway,
do we
so-
want to, anything else? Are we, so Vince, if we've rescheduled our meeting, we don't have anything else, then this isn't gonna work for me, but I think that makes us adjourn.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned.
Right.
Yeah.
There-
It's only lasted
Go ahead.
since